Hello guys, welcome back to Mobility Wednesdays. Today we're going to be using a foam roller. Um, Great way to start is we're going to roll out our calves. So again, you want to try and shoot for 10 pass-throughs. Up and down is one pass-through. Rolling on all different sides of the calf, so the inside, working your way up to the mid-calf. I like to rock back and forth across that muscle, just finding those tender spots and going up and down. You can change positions, so side to side, up and down across that muscle, trying to hit it from all different points and angles. Once you're done with that, you can go ahead and stretch what you just did out by pointing and flexing your toe, switching sides, and starting that process again on the opposite leg. Little tip here, especially if you are a man or have leg hair, always make sure that you wear leggings or something. It can be a little uncomfortable when you're rolling back and forth if you have any kind of leg hair. You'll notice in these calf foam rolls that I always cross one leg over top of the leg that I'm rolling out. This helps just apply more weight onto the roller and helps you really dig into the muscle a little bit more. Next, I'm going to stretch it out, so I point and flex that toe, feeling if I have any increased mobility and if things feel a little bit looser. Next, we're going to move on to the hamstrings. So we're going to start behind the knee and roll up from there. And moving into the bottom of the glute. Pointing and flexing my foot and my ankle, trying to feel the release in the hamstring and how that correlates with releasing the entire leg. You might even feel a release in your lower back here. Tight hamstrings pulling on your lower back can cause some pain and discomfort. It's really important to take the time to roll these guys out and spend the time on the muscle. And we're going to stretch out what we just worked on. Moving on to the next leg. You'll notice in the corner that there's a phone and a timer set up. It's really helpful to have a timer or some sort of stopwatch to help you keep track. You want to try and spend anywhere from a minute to 2 minutes on each leg. For length of the video, I did pick to spend 1 minute on each leg. Next, we're going to go into a forward fold with halfway lifts. So you're going to inhale and lift up through the chest, and exhale, forward fold. Next, we're going to move on to rolling out our glutes, our booty. I like to start on one side just to really make sure that I'm getting the entire side of the glute and the psoas muscle and all of that stuff. So I definitely recommend on spending a minute on each booty cheek. You'll notice too that I do a figure 4 stretch while I'm doing this. This helps me distribute the weight properly and just release that hip and glute muscle. We're going to switch sides and get the other side loosened up. Next, we're going to go into a pigeon pose just to stretch out everything that we just worked on. And now we're going to roll out the front of the leg, the quad. Again, starting at that knee and working your way up into the hip. Rolling onto the side and hitting that IT band. And stretching out that other side, doing that pigeon pose, and then moving into a quad foam roll. Guys, we're gonna stretch all of that work out by going into a child's pose, taking 3 big inhales through the nose, exhaling through the mouth, pushing back into those hips. And we're gonna come into a pigeon pose again. This time we're gonna hold it just a little bit longer. Alright, next we're gonna grab that foam roller again and we're gonna go into a lower back, total back foam roll. Mid back to lower back. Again, it's helpful to go side to side here. So if you want to focus on the right side and then switch over to the left, counting your rolls to make sure that it's even on each side. Next, we're going to use that foam roller to elevate the hips, and we're going to stretch out on the foam roller. So we're going to do a forward fold with the foam roller right underneath the glutes, and you'll see we'll slowly move that foam roller all the way down to behind the knees and even behind the calves, just to really play around with different angles and different flexibility. This one is probably the most beneficial, putting that foam roller behind the knees and putting some weight on the back of the knees and the hamstrings feels really nice for hamstring release. Next, we're going to go into foam rolling our lats out. So you're going to use the foam roller right at the bottom of your bra strap, top of the rib cage, and you're going to roll up and into the armpit. This is great for loosening up those lats, getting those shoulders down and back, and improving your posture. We're going to stretch out what we just rolled out, again moving into that side body stretch, elongating that arm and really stretching that lat. And we'll move on to the other side. And we'll go right into stretching out those lats and working out all that work we just did. Next, we're going to move into a wrist opener and right into rolling out those arms. So I like to start with the forearms, moving into that elbow crease. And switching sides. And right back into that wrist opener, stretching out everything we just did. Now we're going to move on to foam rolling the pecs. So we're going to do the front of the shoulder into the upper part of the armpit. I like to play around with my arm position here. It's really helpful to put that arm behind you and to really get onto that muscle. On and into it. Next, we're going to stretch that out by doing some arm circles, loosening up all of the knots that we just put pressure onto, and moving into that other side. And again, stretching out all of that work we just did on that pec. And now we're gonna do a leg sandwich. This is so good for the ankles and for the calves and for the glutes. When you take that foam roller and put it in between your legs and kind of sit back onto it, you don't need a ton of pressure here, but if you're a little bit looser, you can probably lean back a little bit farther than what I'm showing in this video. Such a good exercise for mobility, guys. I hope you really take the time to do this one. You can play around with different positions with that foam roller. And finally moving to right behind the knees. This is probably the most intense one, and we're going to finish with that one today. So thanks guys for following along, and we'll see you on the next one.